right,
Tim.
all right.
How you doing,
Welcome
man?
back, Ray.
Oh yeah,
Welcome
no,
back.
it's good.
You
On a
you were
little.
traveling, and I was stuck at home trying to work with electricians and
Oh, is
plumbers
that
and
what you,
set
electrician?
myself up here.
That's tough. That's not good.
Whew. Yeah, we had blackouts and brownouts and all kind of outs and
Oh yeah.
craziness here. So, but I moved into a very old. I think it's 1820. 1820
Really?
this place was built. Yeah. And the
Wow.
electrician is from just I think
It's torque.
the first electrician ever worked on this house. I think it was.
It probably could be, man.
What do you
That
mean?
is. That's good.
Ben Franklin had
It's
had
the
the
kite.
the kite going, and then this guy came along. He's like, oh, we could do this.
He's like, we
It's
can
crazy.
run wires right there, right to this house. We'll do a test. That's good, man. That's funny. No, we
Yep,
were we were,
we
we were
got
down in Disney, man. Did a little bit of Disney stuff, and down in Florida, and
nice.
doing some stuff down there. It was all good. Other than it was very crowded. Tim. It was very not Halloween stuff. That's what they got
Yeah,
going on down there.
I heard it's a big thing for the Halloween stuff
I didn't do it.
down there.
I didn't do it, but I was we just during the day ride the rides, man. But it's all
Nice.
good. It's good. Good to relax.
I was this year old when I found out that the castle is built um disproportionately
What?
to make you think like the bricks at the top of the castle are smaller to make
Huh?
it to so that it's visually it tricks you like it's farther away.
Huh? Yeah. No, I didn't know that.
So the scale, so the scale of the castle looks bigger because the bricks get smaller as you go up. So it's really not as big as it looks. It's an optical illusion. That's it.
There you go. That's something.
Very funny
Yeah.
that Walt Disney
That's
making it
him.
look big and giant.
He's Mr. Magical. There you go, man. But yeah, no, it's
Craig is in the
good to be
house.
back. And craziness is going on, Tim. It's
Oh,
it's
I know.
October.
I couldn't wait for you to come back because there's stuff going on.
Yeah,
It was a slow start to October, but now we're rocking, and that's back to Rocktober.
rocking and rolling. Yeah, you see
Dan
Craig,
Smith,
Dan.
Dan Smith here. Robin, happy to see you too. Ariel, good
Yeah,
evening, good evening. Deb in the house, hey, hey. And of
good to
course,
see you.
Ella,
Thank
the
you, thank you.
backup, long time no see,
Right on.
back in the saddle.
But yes, it is
Um,
October, man. What you got? You got some news on what's going on? Is Bitcoin's happening? Something going on?
lots
Ether?
of
Is something happening?
I'll tell you what's going on. Look at this. This is funny because now watch what's happening. The
Oh,
fear at 32.
when was that
That's
though?
not, but that's not
Like 40
crypto.
minutes? Oh, okay.
That's the
Stop.
stock market.
Okay.
That's the stock market. Now we're talking, people. Take a look at what happens when I hit this crypto button. Now, crypto was here a couple weeks ago, maybe
Yes,
a
it
month
was.
ago. But now look at this crypto. Boom.
Greed. Oh, it's not even.
72.
It's a greed even.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's up over the greed sign and it's headed down.
That's crazy.
We're going,
We're gonna peg it. I don't think we've ever seen it pegged out.
we're gonna bury it. We're going to 101.
With World War III going on, all this stuff
Oh,
happening.
geez.
Look at crypto's greed. We're crazy over here, Tim. It's craziness.
That's it. Everybody wants it now. So that's good to see. It's a nice flirting up here. I hope it lasts, but if not, it's better than this.
Oh yes.
People are not liking that stock market right now.
Oh, it's tough over there.
Unless,
Man.
of course, you're selling guns and ammo.
Yeah, you see,
So we'll stick with
some decoupling happen. I mean, it really is. Even too, what I go into a little bit later, is talking about that, man. Bitcoin has been done. If you look at it compared to other asset classes, it's been crushing it compared to throughout the pandemic, throughout the war in Ukraine, all the craziness, man. And it's outperformed every other asset class, and that's the one they're always talking garbage about. What's up, George?
Yes. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Remember the saying, oh, those JPEGs, those, I could just right click it and have it and, nothing to worry about, nothing to see here.
Right.
Well, here actually in Germany, Kaplan, if you're over there in Germany, you can get these, take your rugged JPEGs, those worthless things in your wallet that you are so regretting, and you can cash them in for food.
Oh,
They are
garbage one?
They are taking old worthless NFTs and you can transfer them over to this company. I don't know what they know,
We need
but
to
they
tell
are
FOMO.
you can trade them in for food in Germany. So
Hey,
yeah, if you've got a bunch of what are those marshmallows or whatever, you
yeah,
can
yeah,
get marshmallows.
the Ether Trooper. There's a whole bunch of them. There's a whole gang,
Sure.
whole zoo of them. There, Tim. There's a
Y-
whole zoo.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So
Hey,
yeah,
that's
this
great.
that's one big story right there in Germany. They're taking back your NFTs.
That's better than FOMO had a good idea, but what a mistake, because he got what a mistake.eth, that's great. Food. Who wouldn't want
Yeah,
some food for your JPEGs, man? That's great.
that's it.
Good for Coughlin.
Yes, but you got to be in Germany to collect. So
Oh, they don't
there
deliver?
you go.
Not on
No,
Amazon?
no Uber Eats over there, whatever it is. Then this is the headline coming into your story here, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Bitcoin continues demonstrating its market resilience
Mhm.
with a substantial uptick in its value over the past week. A 24-hour cycle has Bitcoin value growing over 10.38%. 38, Ray.
Yes.
10.38. Look at
What
that
do you
number.
I know.
10.38.
Where do you get that,
Gotta love that 3.8 in there. Anyway, over the last 7 days, it's seen an impressive 20.42 increase. Yes,
Mm,
Bitcoin is on the rise.
doing its
So
thing.
I think you're going to go a little deeper into that, aren't you? So that we can
Yeah. Yeah, no, I got some news
figure out why
stories.
that's happening.
Good evening, Floors. Yeah, Flora, it's a happy Tuesday to you. And yes, good to see you, Donna. Yes, thank you for joining us. But yeah, no, I got some stuff. I mean, there's a lot of news, man, and we're gonna dive a little
Yeah.
bit into it, and just even of what kind of causes this stuff, man. I mean, this
Hmm.
ETF thing, that's kind of the big idea of what
Yeah.
everybody's kind of hearing about, right? But I'm gonna tell you, it's like schizophrenia over here. It's up, it's down, it's up, and now it's back, right? And it's wild, and it's all been in within about 24 hours of this stuff going back and forth, and it's kind of like I said, it's kind of funny. But I like the memes. I'm not. This is not a funny one because
Sure.
I like jets. I used to work on planes and private jets and stuff like this. But this is October, Tim. You got to take a look. I don't know if this is an F-35 or an F-22. Not sure. But that's what this is looking like. Just the other day, we had a green candle that went just like this. See, and if you don't know anything about jets, that's a Generation 5 jet. That's not like a Tomcat or F-15. Those can't do that. That thing would just break apart going straight up like that. But it is kind of crazy. And this is what the media does to the Bitcoin here,
Oh,
Tim. I'm going to boil your oceans used by criminals is on the dark net. And then don't touch killer. It's a climate killer. And then down here, I just want to send money. And Bitcoin says, okay, Tim,
yeah.
it's very harmless. People are we had a show just about it the other day about how it's actually great for the environment. People are able to use it as an energy source, and they're finding new ways of being innovative with energy. So this, man, how much? When is everybody going to just get tired of this ridiculous media and what they do of just fear, man? It's just crazy. I don't know how many times they just keep doing this kind of stuff and everybody just falls for it. That's kind of what we're, in all this garbage anyway, is because of their mouths and stuff. But BlackRock, Tim, this is the big story. The spot Bitcoin ETF. And listen, this was yesterday. Okay. So this was probably a catalyst, or was it yesterday? It's 2 hours ago. Wait, hold on. I might have the wrong one, but let's see. No, I don't. But anyways, this was
Yep.
iShares Bitcoin, right? And this was a ticker IBTC. So this was saying iShares Bitcoin Trust has been listed on the DTCC, Depository Trust and Clearing Corporations, which clears NASDAQ trades, Tim. So it had a ticker IBTC, and it went into October, man. It went bonkers yesterday. But then Tim, there was a 3% pullback. What happened is Bitcoin drops 3% after BlackRock BTC ETF is pulled from the they made them take it off the website, Tim.
Sure.
So it had a nice pullback. This is when it got pulled off, and then you see some of this stuff going on here, and it fell 3% from there. And then today, just 2 hours ago, Tim, as I was looking through news and things like that, just in BlackRock iShares spot Bitcoin relisted on the depository. So all of this within, look, here's the date, 24th. It was just at 6 o'clock. So just a couple hours ago, got listed back in here. Very crazy. This is how this space is. And it's just funny to see how all this, just this noise, very volatile over here. But we needed some of that. And here you go, Tim.
Somebody at BlackRock didn't get to buy before it went up. So they said, oh, we'll just take it off. then you go ahead and buy, and then we'll put it back on.
You're probably right. It could
I
happen
do
like
not
that.
have any inside information. Do not use mine as financial advice, but yeah,
That is
that'd
not. It's
be
not financial advice. It's
yeah,
conspiratorial, but I like that. That's good. It's Here's another one, Tim. Funny. Look at good old Hong Kong. Hong Kong reverses stance on spot crypto
sure.
ETF investing with a catch. So here we go. Look at here, this is coming back. This is how over in China how they kind of go around the edges, Tim, and so they can get into
Hmm.
crypto. They say they're not taking crypto. You can't. It's
Right.
illegal. But they just go around the border a little bit and then go over Hong Kong because they say it's not part of China, but it is. Now that's how they get, and that could have been also a big huge reason why the Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto market had a little pump. It just
Sure.
opened up just yesterday for them in Hong Kong. So very cool. That's just kind of the news. I also wanted to just talk about the ETFs, right?
Yeah.
Let me very first visually show you this, Tim, right? This is 1833, 1849, right? It was $18.93 gold was, okay?
An
And you
ounce
go through, huh?
per
What?
ounce per
Per
ounce
ounce.
of gold.
That is correct, per ounce. Yes. So you go through all the way. It's like a stable coin almost to
Hmm.
the 1900s, man. 1896. I mean, you could even get to 1952 and it was $34.60. And
Right.
then somewhere, I don't know where it was in the 70s, but they took it off from the gold standard from the dollar, right?
Right. Right.
And then you had a little bump, right? But if you know, in 2004, right here, in 2004, this is where gold got an ETF, a spot ETF. And that's why I wanted to show you this. If you look at this, you can really see it by I like the graphs because it's flat, man. These are the same years, same dates. And then up here, like I said, this is where it got taken off of the dollar, back the US dollar backed by gold. And then down here, right here, ETF, gold ETF. And from here, Tim, it just went, doing its thing.
And
So,
that's '04. And when did that peak up there? 15 or something?
yeah, it stopped at 2020. So they don't have anything else
Hmm.
from 2020, right? So you got 3 years. I don't know where gold's at. I didn't check the price. I don't mess with gold anyway, right?
Right.
Bitcoin and ETH and all the other crypto that we're in, that's gold enough for me, Tim. And look, we've seen those charts before. Now imagine the exponential growth compared to gold. I mean, crypto is by far and way, way, way more in growth with any of these assets. And we were just talking about that because
Sure.
I don't know, you see thousands of percents over here, not 10, not 15%. You're talking about 1,500% growth, right? And just like I said, imagine that, right? So that's why everybody's so excited about what's going to go on with these ETFs, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, gold, can be mined and all that stuff. They don't know how much there is. There's stuff off the planet, all that kind of stuff. There are uses for it, but Bitcoin is finite.
Mhm.
21 million Bitcoins,
That's
and
right.
when a Bitcoin hits 10 million, I think it is. When a
Mhm.
Bitcoin hits 10 million, one Satoshi equals 10 cents.
Yes. There you go.
So people will be able to use it and you'll just be trading a Satoshi back and forth, a certain amount of
Yeah.
Satoshis to make purchases or whatever. But if you got a full Bitcoin, you're going to be a rich
That's
person,
right.
rich investor.
That's it. I mean, that's the kind of, and this again, not financial advice, but I mean, if you look throughout its history since it's got, come
Hmm.
out, it's outperformed all of these assets. So, when you start seeing these things and correlations of like what ETFs did with other asset classes, and this is what mostly people kind of equate Bitcoin to as gold or a store of value or something like this. Obviously, it would be a good thing to look at and what happened when they did their ETFs, right? So
Hmm.
like I said, that's why everybody's kind of been, looking and going kind of bonkers because of all that stuff. It got listed and it's not cleared yet. But I mean, that's a pretty good idea, right? But it's kind of going along with what you're just talking about. Since the start of 2020, we've seen a sharp market crash. And this is what it's talking all these things, these headwinds of everything that's just bad news, man. And you're going to see of what it did compared to the other asset classes. There was extreme fiscal and monetary stimulus, right? Worst inflation
Hmm.
since the 70s, fastest rate hike cycle in history. And now we're about looking at a war in Europe and maybe possibly in the Middle East. And this is what it's been doing in the past 3 of these chaotic years. Long-term treasuries is down 46%. Gold is up 24%. S&P 500 up 70%. That's pretty good. And
Hmm.
NASDAQ up over 105%. But Bitcoin, Tim, is up over 614% compared to all the other things where they always say, when what's going to happen uh, if something did break out like this crazy war in the Middle East, or something
Right.
else that you just didn't know, like a black swan event would happen in the pandemic. Who knows? But it's done very well. So that's kind of comforting that we're in a good space. Yes, very volatile. Yes, we've been through a crypto winter. That's been almost 2 years. But man, it's October. The halving is coming, and it looks like the bulls are running, Tim.
Yes.
And this is another one. I like this guy, the Stack Hodler. If anybody doesn't, he's got pretty cool information.
Hmm.
Um, and this is exactly what you were just talking about the finite supply, Tim.
Yep.
You haven't even met the real Bitcoin yet. That's for all of us, right? And when you start really like thinking about this, and I'm going to even show you how much Bitcoin is missing, and I don't think that it's ever going to be recovered. 93% of its supply has been issued over the past 14 years. So 93% of all the Bitcoin is out.
Right.
Okay. What you think of as Bitcoin is you have experienced as 93% of all Bitcoin that will ever exist has been already dumped onto the market. It's already out there and
Hmm.
doing its thing. But during the next 14 years, buyers will fight over new issuance that is a mere 6% of the total supply. And after
Right.
that, less than 0.5% of a new supply will remain. So Bitcoin's true scarcity hasn't even kicked in yet. And we haven't even started yet. We haven't even started what we talked about with the institutions. They're just dipping their toes
Right.
in right now. Right.
They
I think
can't really get in because it's not
there's not much
Gary
out there.
Gensler hasn't raised the white flag yet. He hasn't given up.
He's
He's
trying.
gotta
He's
let it
trying, but
happen.
he's getting kicked in the yeah,
Oh
he's
yeah.
not doing well.
He's got a target on his back for sure.
He does, and he's been losing. These next things I got up here, it is. He's just losing them
Hmm.
with everything, Ripple, all kinds of stuff. What happens early next year when it becomes the hardest money that humanity has ever known? And what about when understanding of this new monetary technology grows at the same time new issuance goes from flood to a trickle, right? People don't know
Hmm.
if you're like even a whole Bitcoiner, like, and that's what it's talking about. Understand how rare one Bitcoin is,
Yeah.
right? It's crazy. If you're a whole, and they call them a whole coiner, dude, that's crazy. 21
Yeah.
million. Right now, it says there's only 60 million millionaires in the world. And what do we say? There's only 21 million Bitcoin?
Right.
Crazy. If Bitcoin were evenly spread amongst them, they could each have 0.35 Bitcoin max. That's it.
Hmm.
Except 5 million BTC are already lost, and that's I pulled that up. I didn't know they already had this in this thing. And it's an estimate of 5 to 6 million of the 19 million Bitcoin mined have been irretrievably lost. They're gone, right?
Hmm.
And you can look at this on this Timothy Pearson. This is the link to it. This means there's only 13.3 million that Bitcoin remaining, and only 1.7 million left to be mined over the next 100 plus years. So, man, dude, it's crazy how it's very hard to get yourself a Bitcoin, Tim. And as
Yeah.
this continues to roll out, man, and people begin to really start adopting this, um, dude, they're not going to be able to get it. It's going to be hard to get a whole Bitcoin, because
Well,
everybody you hear, go ahead.
there's a guy that surpassed Michael Saylor as the single biggest owner of
It is
Bitcoins. Yeah.
really who's
I
he?
forget his name. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
you can't.
I read it today and
You
I
can't just,
meant to mark that down, but yeah, he's got like 23 more than Michael
you mean
Saylor. Michael
is his name
Saylor has like
Satoshi? Is his name Satoshi
no,
Nakamoto?
no. But Saylor has 1,200 of them, I think, or something like that, and this guy has just under 1,300 or something like that. He's right there, so they're going to be jockeying to be who's going to be the first. But either one of those two guys. But the point I was making was when this pops up after the halving and goes crazy, those guys are going to be the first trillionaires.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those
man.
two guys are going to be the guys holding over 1,000 by then, probably 2,000, Bitcoin, and it's going to be crazy when they pop, and they're gonna control all that Bitcoin.
Yep. But it's going to be. I mean, that's what's cool about this. Well, everybody, you do go into Bitcoin, you go into ETH, because we're going to talk about ETH as money too, because that's another one. That's one of our horses as well. We love Ethereum, or Ether, or at least Ethereum is the blockchain. I always got to get we say that a lot. Ethereum is the blockchain. Ether is the token, and like a lot of times people get that confused, and we say it a lot too. But yeah, I mean that's another one. I mean, there's going to be a lot of them. That's Solana. There's other ones that we know. I like M2. Obviously, that's an amazing asset we love. Ripple.
Ripple's in the news,
even the NFTs and where you get into with Ethereum, what you do on there with the smart contracts and how we have NFTs that are asset backed and they yield, crypto. It's crazy, right? And that's what's amazing is it's not even hasn't even started yet. And yeah, we're about to see some ridiculous things, right? That you would never even thought, because forgetting that corporations, insurance funds, pension funds, sovereign wealth funds, and nation states will permanently remove millions of BTC from the market. They haven't even starting to get in. And of course, like you said, they've probably been doing this past 2 years, right? Quietly. The bottom line is Bitcoin is ridiculously scarce. And, all goods will be priced accordingly. And that's kind of, like I said, what you're seeing. It's pretty interesting of where we're at and what's going on, because I think people are just starting to see, what's really about to happen, man. And this has nothing to do. It's more about the ETF ruling. You're talking about a little bit Gary Gensler, SEC getting hammered again. Coinbase shares surge 14% as Grayscale ETF ruling takes effect. A judge has smacked down Gensler again, because it's just ridiculous, the things that he's trying to do. But shares of Grayscale's Bitcoin Trust also surged in Tuesday morning trading by nearly 7%. Grayscale saw a victory formalized in federal appeals court Monday when a judge's mandate that the SEC review the company's Bitcoin ETF proposal took effect. So a judge just said, hey, what you're saying, they're going to do an ETF, and you're going to look at it. And Coinbase stocks also pumped and did their thing as well. All from this. And I don't know what. I mean, they're going to have to replace that dude pretty soon, man, because he's ridiculous. And it don't even make sense, right?
No one knows what he's thinking.
Switching gears to Ether, Tim. This is Fidelity. We keep talking about BlackRock and all those. This is the other one that's filed an ETF as well, and they had this in August, an Ethereum investment thesis, and it's just talking about Ethereum's potential as digital money and yield-bearing assets. And we're going to kind of go through this a little bit. I'm not going to read it for word, but it's talking about aspiring as money. Can Ether be some kind of monetary thing like gold or Bitcoin or things like that? A common narrative theorizes that Bitcoin is best understood as an emerging monetary good, which leads to the question of whether Ether, the token, can be considered money as well. The short answer is yes. It could be viewed that way by some. However, Ether will likely face significantly more headwinds than Bitcoin to become widely accepted as a form of money. And I'm just going to go down here as a chart, and it's just it's already way ahead of fiat currency. So you got all these green pluses. Fiat is not durable. It's not fungible. It's not verifiable. It's not scarce. The Fed prints it like candy, right?
Yep.
And there's no way to track it. You know how they always talk about crypto and how it's for criminals and that's what they're you're going to use it for. Cash is the worst thing, anything for money laundering, for criminals, for drugs, for all that. So all the things that they say, it's kind of that they just don't want their old system to be hammered, right? But Ether, like Bitcoin, is often seen as a form of digital money in the ever-evolving world of cryptocurrencies. While Bitcoin is widely recognized as a type of digital gold, Ether is not just a coin, but also a fuel for a broader platform called Ethereum. This platform's capability might position ETH as an important component of this new next modern monetary system. So people, I want, and we've talked about a lot of our community. We all know this kind of stuff, but hopefully you got new folks watching and things like that. But you got to think of Ethereum as a world computer, right? Imagine if the whole world shared a single computer that could run only, some special programs. Ethereum is like a big computer, and ETH is the energy or gas that keeps it running. That's its token. That's what it's for. I mean, we've talked about it. There's other things where we've talked about other blockchains, and there's not really a value to this token, but it has utility, right? Well, that's why ETH is ETH, is because it is the gas that runs the Ethereum blockchain. Bitcoin primarily allows for sending and receiving money, but Ethereum lets users create unique contracts and applications with its own programming language. This means ETH is not just a coin, but also an enabler for a wide range of digital activities, which could give it a big role in the future money system. But ones that we know, like smart contracts, money with rules, a smart contract is like a vending machine. You could think of it, right? You put ETH in, and based on the rules set, you get something out, whether it's digital item, a service, or another kind of payment. And you hear people say they're smart contracts. They're really actually kind of basic. I wouldn't want to call them dumb. I mean, it's a pretty amazing system, but they're basic. That's why, you can look at it like a vending machine. You put a little ETH in, something comes out. With Ethereum, money can be programmed with specific conditions. For instance, a parent could set ETH to be sent to their child only when that child turns 18. This ability to add rules to money could redefine how we think about transaction and trust in this new next kind of digital age. And the other thing where, you see that, ETH could have a lot of value is the decentralized finance. And that's, again, something we love. We're all been a part of it, did some of this stuff with our own ecosystem. But imagine being able to lend, borrow, or even earn interest on your money without ever stepping into a bank or dealing with a middleman. That's what DeFi does with using Ethereum. In traditional banks have lots of rules. They have paperwork. I mean, me too. We have problems even going into the bank and either putting cash in or taking cash out. Isn't it crazy? I mean,
yeah.
It's your money, man. I was just watching some lady today. She was trying to take $25,000 out, and she had to sit there for an hour. They made her think about it. I mean, what? Yeah. It's crazy, man. Crazy world. So with Ethereum,
if you take over $600 out, they go, oh, what are you spending it on? My answer is, I have 5 kids. They go, oh, all right.
I'm just going grocery shopping.
It's Costco. Yeah.
With Ethereum, people can do many of the same things they do with banks, but directly with one another, leading to potentially quicker, cheaper, and more global financial activities. In a big world of digital currencies, Bitcoin might be the famous older sibling, but Ether or ETH is like the multi-talented younger brother. While both can act as money, you can spend or save Ethereum, the network where ETH lives. As a unique trick, it can run special programs that make money smart. And that's kind of the big idea of, as you look this, I kind of, going down here with these things, but MakerDAO, they just purchased $500 million of Ethereum, right? For their, project on the Ethereum blockchain, MakerDAO. The first US house, and this is something Tim, sold on Ethereum, and it was done as a non-fungible token, an NFT.
Yes.
Which they say NFTs are stupid JPEGs, and it's so funny to know, and people, they really have no idea, man. European Investment Bank issued bonds on chain directly on the blockchain through Ethereum. Franklin Templeton's money market fund that uses Ethereum and Polygon to process transactions and record share of ownership. And that's what I mean. That this is just like the one part of
Mm-hmm.
one of the uses of Ethereum. This is again why I think, and again, not financial advice, I think that you're going to see a flipping of Ethereum over Bitcoin. I don't have no problems with Bitcoin, but to see all of this have additional uses, it just seems like it definitely could do it, right?
It's versatile.
It is versatile. Ether also has a store of value, right? Issuance. Issuance is determined by the number of active validators and their performance. The important trend from this model is that as the total number of staked Ether increases, so does the total Ether issuance, but at a decreasing rate. Since Ether issuance is tied to the amount of stake, this component of the formula is not prone to wild swings. The Ethereum protocol has set limits on how many validators can enter and exit staking, designed so the security backing the protocol and therefore issuance rates remain stable over time. And it's if you see this big cutoff, right there is where they switched engines when we did a live show for like 5 hours, Tim, of
Yep.
Ethereum switching from proof of work to proof of stake. And that's crazy, man. And if you see this line, this is the active validators. So it is increasing, it's doing what it's supposed to do. And all the rest, this validator issuance is going down slightly. So kind of crazy, man. And then now we also have the burn, Tim.
Yes.
Burn is determined by demand for block space, with block space being a limited amount of computational work that can be done every 12 seconds. Burn is wildly volatile, which makes Ether exact future supply impossible to predict. So, unlike Bitcoin, you really don't know. I mean, Bitcoin
Right.
21 million tokens. This it is going down, right? Remember we used to flip the little toggle switch of before the proof of work and then after proof of work the proof of stake. There was a big drop in how much Ether is getting kind of spit out. So, that is an unknown. Who knows? But it also you use a lot of Ether with gas. We all complain about gas and transactions.
Right.
So Ether as a means of payment, right? You could obviously look at several different ways of how you could use Ether as a. I mean, I just saw. Did you see Ferrari? Ferrari, they've always, I think, taken Bitcoin since at least a couple years now. But now you can use Ether to buy a Ferrari, Tim.
Oh,
So there you go. But this is a cool report. All I'm saying is it's pretty, it's pretty intent. I mean, there's a lot to it. Like I said, if you go to fidelitydigitalassets.com, you can find this report, and it's it's free to go through and read. But I just thought it was interesting because the way this is all looking, it looks like we're gonna go to the bull. I mean, and who knows? There's definitely could be a big pullback, Tim. Who knows? Obviously, what's going to happen, but I think definitely after January, getting into February, all of 2024, 2025, and 2026 is going to get bonkers, right?
yes. Absolutely. I think I mentioned I think it was early in the summer that I did go over to my local Fidelity and speak to somebody there, and you could not bring your own Bitcoin. You had to buy their Bitcoin and sell. If you wanted to buy it, you had to buy Bitcoin from them. And if you wanted to sell it, you had to sell through them. You
Oh,
can't use them as a wallet and move
huh?
it around.
Well, that's
So
crazy.
Fidelity has some rules, and like you were saying, bankers have rules.
Yeah,
They have more rules for us than they do for themselves.
absolutely. No,
So,
that's how they rig the game, man.
couple quick things while you were there. I know you can't see the comments, I don't think, but
No,
Greg was saying Bitcoin's coming back. Hope Ethereum comes back. We're getting ready for some growth. And then he says China makes more money disappear if it's not spent in the time frame, which is not
that's
good.
true. Yeah,
And then Deb also commented, the answer at the bank is none of your business.
yeah, that's not.
And Greg says it's starting to feel like the good old days again.
Yeah. Well, it is, man. I mean, this has been everybody's got to get used to
Well,
this,
it's a
man.
long time coming,
It's cycles, man. You can't go
Yep.
up the whole time. you know. And like I said, we've talked many times. How healthy was it to go through that? I mean, all of that garbage. I mean, I'm glad FTX is no longer, man. I'm
Oof.
glad Celsius and all that garbage had to be, removed, right?
Yeah.
Because you would be dealing with all. I mean, that's why even the way things happen with us, I'm glad things like M2 weren't on stupid FTX. Imagine being all
Yeah, that could have
yeah,
killed it, which
yeah,
wouldn't have been cool. But let's not just paint a rosy picture that these banks are going to come in and
no,
do everything great for everybody,
no,
because BlackRock has $9 trillion, and if they say, oh, everybody should buy 1%, and while they're trying to buy 10% of the Bitcoin out there, or whatever, I
right.
mean, they're going to gobble up as much as they can as soon as the green flag goes off.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. That's good. Let them be in there centralized, and everybody will be over there playing with ETL. But we're over here with
Right.
our own self custody and sitting on with these decentralized wallets and using
Right.
decentralized exchanges and just cutting out the middleman. Who cares? Good. And that's kind of going to be the whole idea and the goal. That's going to be fun. I mean, it's going to also be it's going to be a slog. You're going to have to try to obviously convince people which way is better. People don't like being fully responsible. And
Hmm.
that's a shame because there's a huge benefit to if you would just take your time, learn a lot of this stuff. Yes, it's technical. Obviously, there's going to be new user-friendly tools, but if you would just, go ahead and take the time and learn what's going on here, you could crush um, things that you would never even expect to be able to, be a part of, right? Being in self custody and doing DeFi and being a part of all this kind of stuff with NFTs early on, and there's so much opportunity here. It's ridiculous. But
Hmm.
I wanted to run into that. This is the last video. We'll end it on here. But this is a great explanation. This guy's just talking about. I know this is all up here says Bitcoin, but I jumped to the end because he's talking about Web 1 versus Web 2 and Web 3, and he explains it great. And it's just good. We should hear and understand where we're at, and it's pretty cool. So let's see. Tell me you can hear it too.
Explain the difference between
Yep.
Web 1, Web 2, and what cryptocurrency is Web 3.
So the characteristic of Web 1, if people remember their original AOL account, was an ability to look in a curated walled garden at a set of content that was not interactive, but was presented to you on AOL the way that Time Magazine used to show you the articles they wanted you to see inside of their magazine. Just you could see it on a screen. The innovation of Web 2 was that suddenly you could not only read content, but you could also write content. This is when the blogosphere became a big thing. People remember this from the late 90s, the early 2000s. And the reason for the centralization of the internet, of course, was that all of that activity was being monetized by a very small number of companies. Facebook, as the chairwoman mentions, Google, and 2 or 3 other companies. What makes Web3 different is the ability to own the actual network. And that's what crypto assets themselves represent, is an ownership stake in an underlying network. So when you hear people talk about, for example, layer 1 tokens, what they mean is this is your reward for providing the ledger maintenance services, the computing power to the network that on Web 1 and 2 was done by Google, right? So now people in my hometown of Pueblo, Colorado can actually own the Ethereum network, but they can't own the internet. That's owned by Google and a few other companies. That's what the Project of Crypto is all about, is allowing people to directly own the networks that have native assets that are supporting it. And that's the nature of decentralization, where the token holders are the people who control the asset, not Google.
Token holders for our language here on the Hill.
And I'm going to go back to, but in that, I mean, right on, man. I mean, how many times we've heard and been on group calls and all that talk about, owning the network, being a part of the network. How much of the network do you own? And it's all about accumulation. We've been trying to accumulate as much of crypto as we can of many different things, man. And obviously we all know of one that we're excited about anyway, of all the different assets that are to that chain.
Hmm.
And how amazing it is to be that early and ahead of something before something really rolls out. And that's the whole idea, man. By look at Ethereum now that you can just kind of stake 33 ETH and kind of do a node, right? And you're in there, securing the Ethereum blockchain. I mean, and how Bitcoin is, what they do at servers. That is the amazing thing about all that's going on here, is that you won't have to worry about. We all complain about big tech, all of this crazy garbage that we've been, under all this time, and now we finally have an opportunity to really do something. And everybody, all they do is look at price.
Right.
It's crazy. It's ridiculous. And I don't, and I get it. I mean, we do, you go through the winter and all that stuff. And yeah, of course, you look at maybe things that you put in, whatever monetary values but we all know, anybody that's in this space, that this technology is not going anywhere, man. And this is still, just rolling out. And now you're starting to see all that kind of stuff with the ETFs and the just all the big players starting to come in, banks, and they've been positioning themselves, and it's all been a game, man. It's ridiculous, but it's just funny when he's talking about the network, right? Let me go back to McHenry here.
Are the people who control the asset, not Google.
Token holders, for our language here on the Hill, those are digital assets, right? Which are the keys to open up the ledger for you to participate, right? So describe to us how those digital assets fit into this internet revolution, Web3.
So the concept is that you have sort of application layer tokens and you have protocol layer tokens. So if I'm an owner of Bitcoin, let's say that I'm a miner of Bitcoin, somebody who actually creates Bitcoin. The Bitcoin is the reward I receive for doing the work to keep the network operational. And that allows me to own a piece of the Bitcoin blockchain. Or take Ethereum, which is easier to understand. The Ether token represents an ownership stake in the network, but on top of that network are all kinds of apps that get built on the network, much like the apps on your phone depend on the underlying network existing that lets the phone operate. And so people will make judgments about which network is likely to win, and they will invest in the tokens in that network much the same way you might invest in Google stock because you think Google is going to scale access to the original internet. The difference being here, you can vote on what happens in the future of a proof of stake network, for example. You can get rewarded through a proof of work token for maintaining a ledger on something like Bitcoin. But the real message here is that what happens on the decentralized internet is decided by the investors, versus what happens on the main internet is decided by Twitter, Facebook, Google, and a small number of other companies.
But yeah, man, doesn't that sound quite, like we've heard that before?
Yeah.
Even too about a chain that, all the apps on it. Very amazing that you could have a lot of the assets to something like that,
It was very well explained, and it's always good to hear it again. Of course, it helps me sink in deeper, but also a lot of people who are watching for the first time realizing that this is not going away and they better figure out what's going on. That was a great explanation.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's what, like I said, that's kind of what's all, been going on, man. People have been building this whole time, right? I know everybody is excited and they all dreamed of Lambos and rainbows and stuff, man. But that's was the lottery, man. People were just thinking of all that kind of stuff, and it was not like it wasn't happening, but that's all people kind of got all excited for. But there's really some really amazing underlying technology that's going to be used everywhere, Tim. I mean, the NFT stuff is still, that blows my mind, man, of what's capable with NFTs and what you can do with those things, right? It's not a JPEG. Yeah, like I said, I love bees right there, asset-backed NFTs, kind of crazy, man, that those things, Ray got mood like, it is, but it's amazing what they're going to do. They're going to yield out bee honey for the next 500 years, man. That's an asset-backed NFT. You're going to see more of those things. That's what do they call it? Real world assets, RWAs. You're going to hear those things, huge things that are happening in NFTs, all RWAs, real world assets. It's all going to be within NFTs. And we were doing it 2-3 years ago, man. Right? Yeah.
Well, we put out one of the first asset-backed NFTs.
It absolutely was. They were.
So they're going to want those.
They are going to want those. What was it? The bees were 2021. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They were
Or 2020.
they
No,
were
I don't know. We won't.
2020.
My bad. Yeah.
The insiders got them 2020.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And so that's the thing.
Well, yeah,
But
we
it
were
was
on the show where we did a
Yeah.
live show. That's
It was
good.
New Year's Eve.
It was
So
New
we
Year's
hit
Eve.
the 2020 mark, and
Yep.
then it was the next day that everybody started to pile in.
But exciting times, man. There's a lot of
absolutely.
just again, just because I'm not a big fan of BlackRock and all them. I know how ridiculous, but it all brings everything that you have to have all they're gonna do it, right? They've been doing it anyways.
Right.
But now you're gonna get all the exposure. People are gonna be comfortable going over there. That's what people like anyways. They like brokers, they like their TD Ameritrade that handles their money. They like going to the bank where they don't own their money, and they just don't like to be responsible. That's what people are going to do. I mean, I think it'll be like a 70-30. 70% of the people are going to do that. 30% are going to be over here, raking it.
I think it'll be a little higher only because, and I learned this when I was doing research for the show, that I think it's 75 or 6% of the people don't have financial advisors.
Right.
So I think that, if you don't have your own financial advisor and the internet being so prevalent, and this show's going to take off and we're going to have 1 million followers soon, people will learn that they can take charge for themselves. And, as much as they'll want Bitcoin, just as much as, I'd love some more gold in my portfolio, there's going to be other options. And DeFi is definitely going to be an option that people are going to explore because, they watched the Fed and other people try and control monetary policy since the 70s, to their benefit.
Right.
And they'll be tired of that, and they'll just go and learn, and then be able to work within this framework, which is just unbelievable. It is gonna change the world,
right,
in so many ways that people don't even understand.
Well, hopefully, I hope people are, kind of waking up. I hate that term now. It's just, but yeah,
Yeah.
they need to. I mean, it's been happening. That's why I was just when we started off with the media, man. That's the biggest clown show in the world.
Yeah.
That everything that they say is just the opposite. I don't even listen. I don't even turn my TV on anymore, man.
Well, the biggest thing they have to wrap their head around is that it's trustless.
Yes.
And that's going to confuse a lot of people and whatever. Right. But once they learn what that really means, is that it's there and it's going to stay there, and you can move and do it, and you don't have to worry about anybody else.
Well, that's the vending
being
machine
involved.
thing, right? I put it in, I'm going to get some Doritos, right? If I put in 25 cents, well, it ain't 25 cents anymore.
Yeah.
I put in $2. I'm going to get a bag of Doritos. That's literally it. And you're right. As long as it won't get hung up in the spring, and it won't. That's what smart contracts do. They won't get hung up in there. When you do this, the action is going to happen. That's what these smart contracts and Ethereum is all about. It is a trustless system, and even too Bitcoin, right? All of those different blockchains, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, that is more for transactions and sending things, but yeah, it's like I said, that's what. And there's so many more, so many more blockchains that are going to be rolling out and spinning up, and it's going to be fun. This next cycle is going to be crazy, man. Because you're going to see this is going to be the real deal, man.
This after the halving is just going to be huge.
Oh yeah,
huge.
Good
so
time.
We are still at the bottom of this hockey stick.
We don't want to say, but we're still at the beginning, right?
Yeah, it's another beginning, but the next run is going to make this last run look like the flat part of the hockey stick.
That's right.
And everybody's going to be like, well. You're gonna have that face on, like what, and everybody, who stuck it out.
Oh yeah,
will be rewarded.
That's right. Well, and plus we'll make better decisions as well. We know we've learned a lot, man. You know what I mean? Pretty neat. And I'm looking forward to kind of doing a lot of my own projects as well.
Mm-hmm.
We used to talk to a lot of different people, right? It was exciting, and there's going to be a lot more opportunities out there like that.
There's going to be a lot of people coming into the space thinking, all right, now I'm ready.
Yes.
Okay. We've been here, so we'll tell you what to do.
Yeah, that's right. No, that's it, man.
Uh,
That's
We'll
it
be
was a
able
good
to
one.
recognize things coming down the road a whole lot faster than anybody who's just figuring out what an NFT means.
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
And they don't know what an NFT means.
And we
for
got a lot
sure.
of friends, Tim. We got a lot of friends now. It's great.
Yeah. Well, once that hockey stick starts, we're gonna have a lot more friends.
I
They'll
don't
be
want
coming
those
out of the
friends
woodwork
now.
and
I don't
more
want
family too. All of a sudden, hey, cousin Tim,
You're like, nope, I don't know you,
tell
man.
me
What?
about that blockchain again. Sure, pass the
I'll be
stuffing.
like I'll be like Greg just said, moonlighting and get a little darker.
No, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be good, and it's exciting to watch it unfold. And we've been talking about it long enough.
Yeah,
But there's gonna be no stopping it once it starts. And I think the key is the beginning of the adoption with some regulation and those big players coming in.
right
And
on.
when that happens, that's it. The lights are on,
Yeah.
and we're off to the races.
Well, that's why we started off with the finite amount of Bitcoin,
Mhm.
man. That's crazy that there's 5 or 6 million just gone forever.
Yeah.
Crazy. You know,
Locked
being a
up
whole
in the business.
Bitcoiner, you're a champion, man.
Yes.
It is, Will. It's getting exciting. That's what I'm
Yep.
talking about. Yes, sir. But yeah, no. So we're always going to be doing the Tuesdays and Thursdays, right? That's what we kind of decided on.
Sounds
Just
good to
like,
me. Makes sense.
yep. We'll
Excited to
have
be
some other
back.
things. Yeah, go ahead, man.
Yeah, no, excited to be back. We'll get in the groove, and we'll have
Right
some
on.
fun, and we'll bring in some some guests and
Oh yeah,
bring some people in to talk about what's going on, what their thoughts are, and we'll watch it all unfold.
well, I know Kareem. Kareem has been gathering some guests over in Africa, so yeah, that'll be a
Mhm.
cool thing. I think we're going to talk to him soon. I think he's got stuff lined up already because there's a lot. I mean, there's so many other countries that are way, way past the U.S.
Yeah.
and Africa is one of them. I mean,
Yeah.
they've been getting ready for this for for a while, and not pushing it away, not pushing the technology away. I mean, accepting it and trying to get it going. Right? We'll
Right.
see.
Well, we watched that when they unpegged the dollar to the oil and started doing trades between countries in their own currencies or whatever
Yep.
chosen medium they wanted, and that's amazing. Good for them.
There you go.
Not so good for us, but we got to get in the game and be able to play with the rest of them because a lot of them were using Bitcoin
Yeah.
and trading off that. So
Oh yeah.
we'll
Oh
we'll
look, did you
figure
see
it out.
Bounder? Hey Bounder,
Oh
how
yeah,
you doing? Good to see you. I didn't know if you
I
put him up there.
I was putting them in.
Okay, my
Even
bad.
Josh is here. I put
Josh,
this one up too.
there he is. What's going on,
Bumped
man?
it.
That's right. That's
Josh,
right.
I missed the card games. Josh, we got to find a card game again.
Oh yeah. Yep. We'll do
A little bit
something.
of poker.
Right on, man.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, you gonna play us out? What do you got?
Sure. Oh, that's all I got is that same old one, man. I'll make
right.
some new ones. I got to make some new ones. But appreciate everybody. Give us a like and subscribe. Share it, please. And leave it on Twitter. If you have it on there, just go ahead and retweet that too.
And we're broadcasting right into Ray's channel now, Ray.
Oh, that's right.
At Ray of Light 38. If you're on Twitter, you can watch there live in the purple bubble, pink bubble.
Pink bubble. I know. It's cool, man. Twitter.
There you go.
It's all happening. All right,
Or the
brother.
X. The X.
X. Later.
Good night.